here on Bonnie Woodruff's channel, but we've decided to use this for a passion project of ours. You see, throughout the years, we have collected literally thousands of screenshotted examples of toxic, narcissistic bullying and gang stalking within the occult. And so, being the person that I am, I've decided that being passive in regard to this is no longer an option. You see, I suffered from it myself for years, and we're going to go over that in future episodes. But I actually remained very quiet, very passive, because, like most, I felt like engaging in the folly was counterproductive. But you see, what happened was some of the same people that tried to ruin me, tried to destroy me, tried to curse me dead, tried to slander me, drag my name through the mud, destroy my career. See, they actually started to do this to others. And not just on social media, but, exposing people's personal information, their personal addresses, and they become a real, actual danger within the occult. And so I started to ask myself, if I'm walking down the street in an alley in Youngstown, Ohio, and I hear a woman who is being SA'd, and I do nothing to help, who is more evil? The person committing the crime, or am I just as bad for having the opportunity to help and deciding not to? And through exploring myself, through my own contemplation, and through the guidance of the dragon, who is divinity to me. I don't use these male and female terms of God and goddess. The divine to me is the dragon. Through the guidance of the dragon, I was told to stand up and do what I like to do and go to war. I am never more happy and comfortable than when I am at war. Whether we're talking about physical conflict, fighting, I'm rather sadistic. Mental debates, emotional conflicts, being surrounded with narcissists, I developed a sort of conditioning to this sort of thing. And that's why me as a victim of this stuff, it really didn't bother me. It didn't make me sweat. But you see, now I'm starting to see very innocent, well-meaning people become victim to this sort of behavior. And so this channel is going to become a part of this passion project, because we're not going to taint my career, my channel, with this sort of nonsense. But this isn't nonsense. The behavior of these people is nonsense. And exposing that behavior is a worthy passion of mine and Bonnie's. So, with the help of the administrator of this live stream and Bonnie herself, collecting, literally, we're reaching into 3,000 examples of this, 3,000 receipts, as she likes to call them. They are being meticulously formulated, organized to create a narrative, to give people a complete story. You see, because what these gang stalkers and narcissists, what they like to do is hit you from so many different directions, so many different fake accounts, that they figure you can never track them down, you can never find the source, But the thing is, they've never faced anybody as intelligent as myself. They've never faced anybody with the will to fight like myself and like Bonnie. So here we are. Now, what I do want to say is that there's two core emotions. And I've taught this even to some of those gang stalkers. I have taught them that these two core emotions are love and fear. You see, a lot of people, they think hatred is the opposite of love, and this just isn't true. Indifference is the antithesis of love. This hatred that I have for this sort of behavior is anchored in love. And Crowley himself said that love is the law, love under will. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, but harm none. These people are very destructive, and they don't only seek to harm others, but they will hate you if you have joy. They will hate you for finding happiness. And I'm here to say that you now have a voice. I encourage anybody that has fallen victim to this sort of behavior to contact myself, to contact Bonnie Woodruff, contact KILLAH Bee. I got to give KILLAH Bee a shout out. He's the witch hunter. And let me tell you, I'm glad to be on the right side of this brother's team, because this guy has direct experience with cults and how they operate. He knows how they have affected his family, and he knows how dangerous people like this can be. He knows how they operate in regard to mental manipulation. And we've had discussions with him, Bonnie and I, and we've had a lot of cult tactics and manipulation tactics pointed out to us by following this gentleman. So I support KILLAH Bee. If you're not doing bad things, you don't got to worry about it. But if you're doing bad things, he'll hunt you down, and he'll find you, and he'll expose you. So we're going to try and drop a link to his channel in the description box. Be sure to subscribe, check him out. And when you have problems like this, ladies and gentlemen, we are collecting this information to expose it. And you now have a voice. You do not have to be afraid to step forward. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and bring up the first screenshot. I'm not aware of the specific order these are going to come up, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and let admin kind of lead the discussion here.
All right, the head up, that's up.
Okay, so what we have before us, guys, is a very recent instance of what happened to me just yesterday. You see, I exposed Zarafina Angelus, who you might hear me refer to as Paula throughout this podcast. That's how I know her. That's who she is. Paula Canavan. Someone reported my post on these people's link to pedophiles. Real world, caught red-handed pedophiles. You know, we're talking about parents who are catching their 14-year-old talking to grown-ass men in the occult. Now, not to say that these examples that were brought up were necessarily sexual in nature. But what I'm saying is grown-ass men have no reason to talk to 14-year-old little girls. And a couple of these people came forth because they trusted Bonnie. Now, this post was reported to silence me, and then it was immediately set up and rebutted to attack a follower of mine. But this is J.S. Garrett, who I might refer to as Jesse. He's calling out this gentleman, Timothy Foster, who was essentially a supporter of this passion project of making the occult study and research a safe place for people to try and gain control of their lives. He is against this sort of harassment, and he got sick of seeing it. So what they did was they gaslit him. This is a screenshot which essentially is calling out Timothy Foster as being a sociopath or a pedophile. He's threatening him. Now, this Laura Jane Mercury, I don't even know who she is. But she's saying that Timothy Foster added her child, her son, as a friend, as well as the underage daughter of a well-known member of the occult field on the same day. She says that there's only two possible motives in her book: to collect photographs for baneful purposes. The other, she says she doesn't even want to write here. She says, if you have him on your main account, please check your children's friend list. This is not a shit post, she says. This is genuine, and she has screenshots to back this up. Well, see, we don't say we have screenshots, Miss Laura Jane Mercury. We show the screenshots. Where are the screenshots? This is what I want to know. Because if this Timothy Foster gentleman is actually doing this, you can't say you have receipts and then not provide them. You have to put your money where your mouth is. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's what we say in Cleveland. That's what we say in Youngstown. That's what we talk in the hood. This is like ghetto creed. Don't talk about it, be about it. Where? Why hadn't you shown the screenshots? She says she will be sorting her accounts to keep her family and witch life separate. This is a smart thing to do. No matter what your grievance or what side of the fence you sit on, you don't bring people's kids into it. Admittedly, I have been slack with which account I accept requests on. She shall be having a rearranged. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just common sense. You know, my Facebook page, I don't have a personal one. The only reason I have anything to do with Facebook is because of the occult. But within the comments section, we can see that there's other people engaging, commenting. Nicolene Albrecht used to be a friend of mine, but she blocked me because, well, she rides Become a Living God's coattails, and she wants to be relevant in the occult like most Facebook magi do. Whatever. But she states she has him on the friends list, but always thought he seemed like a decent guy. It's because he is. This is part of why I created a separate occult-only account. She had a dude lusting after her sister. She wasn't having it. So maybe generally be careful and protect your non-occult friends and family, right? It makes sense. She says she hadn't seen Timothy post anything weird. Maybe he's just adding people that pop up as suggestions. Yeah, likely. This can easily happen because the algorithm will suggest mutual friends. This is correct. Maybe make sure family members just don't make that list. Like, here's the thing, Laura Jane Mercury, J.S. Garrett. Why do your children have social media accounts? Especially in regard to the occult. You want to protect your children. Well, you give them a Facebook account and you allow them to be friends with their friends and their family. And you set up their settings to protect them from this stuff happening. So how is this Timothy Foster's fault? Even if your children ended up on his friends list, that doesn't mean he's trying to curse your children. That doesn't mean that he's a sociopath. I am more of a sociopath. It doesn't make him a pedophile. Why aren't you protecting your children? We've seen an example of one of the primary living frauds, E.A. Coetting, for instance, putting his daughter up on D.H. Thorne's live streams. And it's unfortunate because, you know, Bonnie, she pointed out that the poor girl's breast fell out. Like, why aren't you protecting your daughter, son? Have her put on clothes and a bra. Why are we doing this to our children? This is your fault. But my point is this. I was silenced for bringing up this pedophilia. For one of these people who tried to plant venom in my relationship. Because behind the scenes, they were friends with Paula. Even though Paula tried to have everyone block him at one point, but you see, he became useful again. So now they are friends. And he asked, when I made this post calling out the fact that he was found talking to underage girls in a sexually explicit way, and he was told, or she was told, the young girl was told to delete all the messages, all of the accounts. We had the screenshots, we had the receipts. They finally reported it, and what they tried to do is set up and reverse engineer that, making one of my supporters out to be the bad guy. Timothy Foster, he's not a pedophile. He's not a sociopath. He's a guy on Facebook that's trying to make friends, who's trying to learn. But Nicholing brings up the fact that he gave him 12 hours. See, JS did this to me in the past. Sent me a picture with black candles and radionics machine. You have 12 hours to explain yourself. No. Fuck yourself. Fuck you and your 12 hours. He did the same thing here. And Nicholing is bringing it up. Well, JS, you gave him 12 hours. In the meantime, I'd say just keep in mind it's social media. And he's probably just a guy responding to his news feed. That's how those things go too. In other words, if you don't like it, block him, right? She says, I have him blocked and we live in England, and my son is visibly a child. He was once on my list, but blocked him for bitching about hexing others in my friendship group and being good friends with Anima Nora, who has been actively attempting to hex and vampirize myself, Jesse, and Zarafina for months. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. You don't have energy, young lady, because you were wasting all of this time gang stalking people. That's why you're so tired. It's exhausting to have to create these multiple fake accounts. Like, who are you? I've been in this field for, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long now. Years, way before J.S. Garrett, way before EA. And I've never seen you on Facebook. I don't know who you are. You're most likely a fraudulent account that's been around for a while, that's used by Paula. Now, I'm not going to say that that's absolutely true, because you could just be a tool like Gregory Rasputin or Elric. You could just be a tool. And when you have lost your use, you will get shivved as well. Or you are Paula. You also could be Jesse. I don't know, nor do I care. But there's a series of behaviors here, an observable pattern. Okay? Can we go ahead and keep that screenshot up, Mel? Now, Nicolene says curses don't work unless the victim truly deserves it. That's not true. There's real hate. So many curse wars, yet pretty much everyone is still standing. No, that's not true. We lit one candle. 3 days later, EA co-wedding was removed from all social media platforms. Now, all of Become a Living God is hanging on by a thread. They've got maybe 500 followers on Odyssey. No one cares. They're not relevant anymore. The champ is here. Next, we can move forward, my friend. Faith Baba. She's another innocent being brought into nonsense, but J.S. Garrett is essentially pulling out a screenshot where she's talking to Timothy Foster. And you see, this is a Freudian slip, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I call a Freudian slip. This is based on essentially the psychology models of Sigmund Freud. But it is because of Bonnie communicating with Timothy Foster. You know, they're sent, these people have trolls that watch my account, and I know that. That's why I post the stuff. They send these screenshots to them, and so they figure out and they try to think of some way to reverse engineer it. And what they'll do is they'll report my posts to try and silence me. But that doesn't work, because this link, it's posted to my Facebook anyway. See, I'm not a Facebook magus. I reach my goals and objectives beyond Facebook. I have an actual life, and I have actual intelligence to make shit happen in the real world. When I have objectives, when I have goals, I achieve. But Timothy Foster says, may Cayenne's bride, I won't say her name, start to feed off of her and the energy she is feeding into abusing others. Listen, guys, this is rather dramatic. I'm a dramatic guy too. Ask Bonnie. I'm dramatic. I'm heavily dramatic. Timothy, that was dramatic. Beautiful, beautiful, poetic, but dramatic. Thing is, these people will see that and they'll see it as a threat. So what they will do is immediately attack the threat. And they'll do so by utilizing intimidation tactics, threats, and things of this nature. Things which will be exposed as we move forward in this passion project. Today, this is only one more episode in a much larger, broader, ever-evolving spectrum of giving you people who are victims to this kind of shit a voice. But Nicolene Albrecht is asking who this is referring to. Now, the thing is, they're screenshotting the comments, not the post, which was reported and removed, because the post exposes Zarafina's connection to Gregory Rasputin, who she was begging everyone to block just months before. No, we cannot point that out. We're just going to cherry pick from the comments of the original post to make other people look bad so that they can push their agenda. But let me tell you something, J.S. Garrett. You don't have a fraction of the intelligence I do. That's why you think I speak in riddles. If you're watching this now, you have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm saying. You're gazing at this video, looking at it like a deer gazing into headlights. You are a fool if you think I am not watching you, and you are a fool if you think you can win. You don't have it, son. You ain't got it. We used to say that in Bible school. You ain't got it. I went to Bible school on 6 Mile in Detroit. You ain't got it. They were referring to the anointing of the Holy Spirit. You ain't got it. You're not a magus. I don't know what happened to you, son. I don't know what happened to you. You are not the same person. But you see, this is the danger of cults. It will change you. It will manipulate and contort your very mind and your very ability to think for yourself. These people have no idea who they're fucking with. See, they underestimated me, and I let them. But these days, they're coming to know real fast who I am and what I'm capable of. And we're just getting started. Let's move forward. So JS says that he's pretended to be his friend for the last few years. It came as a total shock. Again, Timothy Foster, explain this shit to me within the next 12 hours, or he's going to curse him. See, what happened was he sent Timothy Foster a photo implying that he's going to begin cursing him. He sent him a photo and said, I'm starting in 10 minutes. He pretended to be your friend. No, he was your friend, bud. He'd like your stuff on Facebook, but you see, what he found out is that you were a gang stalker. What he found out is that I was living in your head rent-free. He started to realize that I was your God, that you are obsessed with me. He started to realize that instead of producing free, usable content, instead of empowering people within the occult, you are obsessed with trying to destroy Kurtis Joseph. Did it work, son? Did it work? How many subscribers you got within lawless metaphysics? We're going to talk about why lawless metaphysics is lawless too. We're going to talk about your little ginger buddy. We're going to get to that tonight too. But that's what this screenshot that we're showing is indicating. He has pretended to be his friend. In other words, because he commented on our posts, he's not friends with J.S. Garrett. This post had nothing to do with J.S. Garrett. Why is he getting involved? J.S. Garrett says, Kathy Ricks, think twice, ask questions. Kathy Ricks? Dude, she's an elder in the occult community. She was doing this shit while you were still a nut stain in your mama's drawers. And that's the problem with you motherfuckers. You have no respect for elders of the craft. You think you could just do whatever you want. Let me tell you something, son. You went to a boot camp. with EA co-wedding, and that is the extent of your education in the occult. You don't know anything. You don't know shit. You can't teach shit. Timothy flat out says to JS, the comments aren't about you. Again, this wasn't about JS. It's frustration because he's been targeted by Zarafina a while back. He's been targeted by this same woman. This woman does this to everybody. I don't know how many men she puts in her pocket. I know of two besides myself that I won't mention out of respect. But trust me, I'm giving them a voice. They're going to come forward too as well. We're going to get there eventually. JS says, I'm about to video call you now. I'm calling. I really hope that you answer. Or what, fool? Let's move forward. These little screenshots within the screenshots, I can't see them, but essentially they are pictures of Timothy Foster. Threats. Indications that you better answer or I'm going to curse you. I'm the all-powerful J.S. Garrett. I am the one true Kurtis. No, you're not. You're not. There's only one me, homeboy. Yeah, Order of the Brown Eye, baby. I'm an asshole, and I'm proud of it. Come at me. You ain't got it, homeboy. These are threats. It's JS. He responds, said he blocks me. Well, yeah, of course. Because he knows. He knows that you're just out to harass him. He knows that if he does answer, what you're going to do is try to get inside of his head, get information, blah, 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 so that you can further manipulate. He continues, I got you all. Now, I don't know if these screenshots are here. What does he mean by got you all? You see, he posted pictures of Timothy Foster's family. Innocent people who have nothing to do with any of this drama, nothing to do with the occult, nothing at all. And he posts the pictures to indicate that they are now targets of his black magic, as if he's got any power. He says, I got your Addy too, bro. It's only a 30-minute drive. His address. Now he's physically threatening him. Physically threatening him. Saying he's going to show up at his house. Even Nickeling says, JS, come on, keep his friends and family out of it. You're better than that. Is he? How do you figure, woman? Because this behavior has been going on for years. You're just now seeing this? He's not better than this. He's the lowest of low, bottom of the barrel, scumbag, hillbilly, redneck, wannabe black magician. And I used to love the guy. And I still do. There's only two core emotions, ladies and gentlemen, love and fear. I'm not intimidated by this. And that's why I'm bringing this up. Hopefully, it will entice some change in this man's behavior. We'll see. We'll see. But then he says, oh, his family has nothing to fear from me. Just making a point. I am not like him. He never threatened anybody's family, dude. What you guys are proclaiming is that somehow he ended up friends with your kids because you don't have your kids' social media accounts set up properly to protect them. That's your fault. Like Nicolene said, if he did end up on your kid's friends list, it's probably because it was suggested by the algorithm. That doesn't mean he's out to target your families. Nicolene Albrecht, I'm fair, he says. Dude, I'm not. I'm not fair. All is fair in love and war. And love and war are intimately and intricately linked. I love with 100% because I love war. 100%. I am never more comfortable than when I am in the eye of the storm. I find safety in the heart of chaos. And you motherfuckers have no clue the beast that you have awakened. Keep poking the bear. Keep poking that bear with a stick there, hillbilly boy. Watch what's about to happen to you, bro. Guess we'll see just how big your britches really are, bud. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Lawless metaphysics. This right here is a screenshot of Kaylin Rurik Briggs. This is public information. This is Rurik Douglas, homeboy. Now, you're claiming Timothy Foster is either a sociopath or a pedophile, but you sit right next to a red-headed, charged sexual offender named Rurik Douglas. How come you're not calling him out? It's because he's useful, huh? He binds your books. Right? This is legal. I'm sharing this. This is public information. Now, this is a felony. The case is closed. It's a sex offense of the 3rd degree. What does that mean? Well, you can look it up, but what it basically means is that the child was 14 years old. That's what it means. But here's the sad thing, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know what the sad thing is? This alleged sexual crime, it was committed against his sister. Against his own sister. So not only is it a sexual crime that he was charged with, it was a crime of non-consensual sex against his own family, and these allegations come from his own family. We're not going to mention where this information comes from and put anyone in danger. So, Mr. J.S. Garrett, One True Kurtis, let me ask you something, my friend. How is Timothy Foster wrong by possibly accidentally being friends with someone's child on Facebook? How is that a crime? And Miss whoever colorful hair lady you are, whoever you actually are, how can you be friends with J.S. Garrett when he is friends with an actual pedophile? Now, this charge is now closed. The reason, of course, is because someone's family isn't going to throw the book at him. That's why. Someone's family doesn't want to see their family sit in prison. So he probably pled out. I've been in the system. I know how it works. I got charged with a burglary. October 21st, 2001. I got charged with a burglary because, well, I ran away when I was 14. I had been on the streets for years. Winters in northeastern Ohio are cold. So I went into an abandoned house to get out of the elements. The neighbor called the police, and I sat in a county jail for 2 years. I didn't have the pleasure of getting a number. I had a lawyer. I could have pled out, but my co-defendant, the kid that was with me, he pled out to a felony 2 burglary because he was mentally incapable. He was a victim of the state. He's not very smart, in other words. So he pled out to a felony 2 burglary. Because we were co-defendants, I couldn't plead out to criminal trespassing, which was what it was going to get dropped to. So I know how this system works, my friends. This is abhorrent. It's disgusting. You people need to stop this behavior because I've got receipts. You have not done anything. I know who all of you are. All of you. You haven't done anything from the age of 10 years old that I don't know about. I know who each and every one of you are. You don't understand who you are fucking with. I've had somebody in the occult community actually recently, days ago, have a discussion with me. Melvin talks to him a lot from Unexplained Possibilities. Make sure you guys go check him out. He's the admin. But he's been talking to this kid for a while, having very deep discussions. And he said, you know, Kurtis, nobody gives you credit. I don't think anybody actually knows how intelligent you are. Of course not. To keep silent is part of the witch's creed. You motherfuckers are going to learn real fast that you have no fucking chance of winning. I don't lose. Not ever. I don't fight fair. Because if you fight fair, sometimes you lose. You know, in the street, people like to act like there's street fighting rules. There's not. I will kick you in the balls and snap your arm in half and bludgeon you with a rock. We're not just going to throw hands. I don't fight. I don't like to run out of breath. I like to breathe. You're not going to catch me panting. I'm going to bludgeon you and I'm going to win. I don't fight fair. All is fair within love and war. You have no idea who you're fucking with. And when you fuck with innocent people, you're fucking with me now. They are all scales on the body of the one dragon that is Kurtis Joseph. These people now have a voice. This sort of behavior is not acceptable. I'm not going to allow it to exist within this occult community. We had a discussion, Bonnie and I, with Malice on his podcast, and he brought it up. He said, you know, Kurtis, maybe you're partly to blame for this because you didn't call it out. And I took that shit to heart. And he's right. So come at me. I will take you all on at once. And I will win. You and what army, motherfucker? You ain't got it. You don't have what it takes. I will stand firm and beat you all down by myself. By myself, single-handedly. Well, of course, I got people who are me. The admin of this stream is me. Bonnie is me. Timothy Foster is me. You are all me. We are all one. If you are a cancer and a disease within this community, call me the immune system, motherfucker. Call me karma. You motherfuckers have been preaching this idea that karma doesn't exist. I'm right here. I exist. And I'm going to take you to school. I'm going to take you to church, baby boy. I'm calling you out. You think you got it? Come get some. Come get it. You got anything else we need to cover tonight, Mel? Yeah, these are all Facebook connections. We're starting to compile all of these various people who like to ride both sides of the fence, so to speak. They try to play both sides of the fiddle, so to speak. This is merely pointing out who is friends with who, you know, but yeah, to me, this is all really, you know, speculation. Until I start seeing, you know, I'm not going to tell people who they can and cannot be friends with. But I will say that if you are friends with these people, you need to be careful, because if you do not fall in line with their political agenda and you do not feed into their ego, they will shank you the first chance that they get. They are not to be trusted. There was this meme that was made from Zarafina's pendulum reading fucking advertisement for Become a Living God, talking about everything is 100% confidential. Well, like, why do you have to say that, first of all? Isn't it supposed to be anyway? Why do you have to say that? When someone says, trust me, normally what they're actually saying, it's a Freudian slip, is that you can't trust them. Ooh, Santa Muerte's candles popping. I love when she starts talking. Beautiful. You got to watch who you're friends with. Connor also has Kurtis on his friends list. Yes, of course. Yeah, this is Zarafina pointing out all of these different people who are friends with each other. And he's, in essence, in order to control her narrative. It's a basic narcissistic strategy. Narcissists will tell you who and who you cannot be friends with. You are allowed to be friends with people who are going to uphold their agenda and serve their end goal. If a person does not 100% agree, or if a person does not agree enough to uphold and support that agenda, they are then a threat. So these are all screenshots of her trying to tell people who they can and cannot be friends with, ladies and gentlemen. Zarafina is a catfish. Go ahead, buddy. You can move forward. Yeah. This is all. Honey, can you turn that down? The first link posted is JS and some guy, don't know him, making fun of Orly and Yuri. Now, What we're assuming this is about, guys, is this video that JS made essentially making fun of transgendered people. Transgendered people, you know, he's got a child that, honey, sorry. Saying that this fighting has to stop. It's making us all look like fools. Yes, of course. Of course. When you're dressing up and making derogatory statements, but also trying to emulate very defaming behaviors, you know, emulating very defaming acts, like sticking a Pringles can up your rear end, that is not socially acceptable these days. It's not socially acceptable. So we are in this world of cancel culture, but notice it's always the wrong people that they're trying to cancel. Why wasn't that called out? You see, I've had people who ironically were found to be linked to these oppressors and gang stalking bullies. I've had people come on my wall exposing this sort of behavior, which is an actual fucking danger in the world. Pedophilia is a thing. It's a thing within the occult. For those that end up being consumed by the darkness because they don't have the divine spark, the black magic, it will consume them and take them down very dark roads. And that's why I'm very careful in regard to who I teach. There's some people that will pay us for me to teach them for a year, and we will give them their money back if I feel that they are not mentally and emotionally stable enough to go through with the work. Because this ain't about money. The money is not a cost. It's not a price. It's a dowry. It's a trade, an exchange of energy that activates the work. You don't make that energetic exchange, it's not going to become useful. But this sort of behavior, they're telling me to stop. Why don't we see this on their wall? Why don't we have people telling them to stop? Because that will stop it. When they quit being a danger to the occult community, I'll stop. When they can shut their fucking mouths, I'll stop. And trust me, people, you want me to stop because I will destroy you. Without remorse. I'll do it with a smile on my fucking face. I have been. Become a living God is no more. What if I was to tell you that Zerafina Angelus was the one who called BBC and started all that shit? See, they tried to tell me that rumor on the street was I bought out the media. How am I going to buy out the media when I'm so broke, as they say? Yeah. Good point. I'm not the one putting men and women in my pocket. What if I was to tell you that? That Zerafina's the one. Maybe she got drunk and got mad at EA. And she's the one who exposed him through BBC. Look at history, ladies and gentlemen. The fall of every great empire happens at some crazy bitch's hands. And she thinks she's that. Nah, not this empire, because I don't think with that head. I think with this one. And I do it well. All of this is being cataloged. But yeah, this screenshot, people should watch the video to understand what we are and where you are coming from. Orly is finally setting boundaries, and she did. I'm proud of her. She's standing up for herself, and seriously, she doesn't see Yuri as a force anyone would want to mess with. No. Yuri knows how to think for themselves, for himself. So they hope that they manage to do something, even if it is behind the scenes. Garrett will only lose followers for turning against them anyhow. Orly has a stronger backing than him. Yeah, because Orly has actual experience, guys. I will stand behind Orly Stewart. She doesn't teach what I teach. So what? I know that Orly Stewart is actually initiated. I know that she's learned from people and not occult fiction books like Kingdoms of Flame and the Book of Azazel and things like that. And who the hell is he again? JS, the guy who sacrifices animals. Yeah, we're not even going to get into that because, you know, for spiritual and religious purposes, animal sacrifice is actually legal. But that is a license that the gods give you, and he's not licensed. Any tradition that teaches animal sacrifice, guys, they will teach you that you have to learn to cook before you learn to cut. I've been at this a long time. I don't have license to cut. Have I sacrificed animals? We're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to monetize something like that. Animals are sacred to the gods. I don't look to hurt anything or anybody. Even this podcast, this passion project, it's meant to protect people from getting hurt by those that will sacrifice you. And they will. Maybe not physically, maybe not on an altar, but maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, it was written in one of, two of, three of Become a Living God's books. Has it been edited out? I'm not sure, but we've got screenshots of the instructional content on how to do it, who it should be done to, etc., etc. I'm sure we'll get to that later on as well. But this is not an isolated incident with J.S. Garrett. This is someone talking about being bullied by the ball group. Maggie Moon. Yeah, her family and friends mess with me and others here. Again, Maggie Moon, before Become a Living God, was a different person. Can you bring that back up? I want to try and bring context into that. Bog is crumbling from within. Yes, it's a good thing. Ignorance is not bliss. It's just ignorance. Again, they're saying how they're not trying to stir up crap, but this Bog group and everybody that seems to get involved with them gets directly involved in harassing, gang stalking, and threatening others. Whenever I catch wind of an elder being put under stress, I can't help but see my own sugar mama, grandma, been calling her that for years, be in that situation. All I can say is it sucks to be that dimwit. They must be referring to Zarafina, yeah. She's always harassing people, but yeah, this sort of calling her a dimwit shit, I don't, that's not necessary either, but these are private conversations that we end up with, and we've got thousands. Not 1,000, we're talking thousand. Thousand. There's more than one case number against these fools, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, the ringleader has some against him. Because all these people are puppets. Playing out insight roles. This is Nazi 09A shit. You see, these sinister satanic organizations, ladies and gentlemen, they don't have any real power in magic. See, actual satanic ideologies, magic isn't the most important part. Political influence is. Imposing their agenda within the world is, and this is often done through the creation of insight roles. Forcing people to live against the nature of their natural self so that they can get beyond the comfort of their own mental space. And they say that this is good for the spiritual expansion of human consciousness, and it is if it is done according to your will. For instance, if you're a peaceful person who doesn't like to fight, you might go take up boxing for a couple years to learn to understand how to be a fighter. If you're a cop, you might, for instance, decide to join a biker gang to get to better understand the lawless. And that's not to say that biker gangs are criminals, because that's simply not the case. They just operate beyond the fucking confines of society. I am friends with pagans. I'm friends with bikers. Couple of them. I teach a couple of them. They just operate beyond the bullshit, and they love to live their life and have fun. But these are examples of insight roles that you might choose to take part in. But when somebody places you in them, trust me, it's not for your greater good. It is to help uphold their political agenda. Guys, a lot of this stuff, I mean, I'm looking at it for the first time. But these are all examples of Zarafina Angelus bullying and harassing people. She's stolen from people like the Black Witch Coven. Yeah. Again, Black Witch Coven, that woman is an elder. Kendra Ravenmoon, I don't want to bring her into this, but she is an elder in the community. She's not some Facebook MAGA. She's an established occult author, sinister satanic model, high priestess of the Order of Phosphorus. And she supports what I do. And because of that, yeah, they will not like her. It's not fair, is it? Thing is, Kendra don't care. Oh, soda water. Stream went dead.
You're good. Keep going.
So there's really no reason to believe people who oppose elders within the occult community have any real knowledge to pass on. These people are attacking people that built their fucking opportunity to have a career in this field, which I hate to call it that. They are profaning the sacred by calling this a industry. Spirituality is not an industry. But these elders have paved the way for their success, and they've taken it and the potential of it, and they've made it abhorrent to the point where, honestly, I'm moving into a career of costume design. I've been wanting to do it as a kid. I'm not leaving the occult though, because then I do what they want. They want me to be silent. I'm going to stay. I'm going to make sure that these people see us grow. And we're going to continue to be a voice for victims of this sort of behavior, ladies and gentlemen. You know, a lot of these discussions, some of these conversations that are being brought up, we're going to wait for Bonnie to come on to cover a lot of that because she understands the context better. And, you know, I'll give my feedback with her. There's certain parts that my other half has a better understanding of. I understand what I have experienced. This Timothy Foster shit, for instance, I've experienced it. I know the exact context of what is going on. What's up, Malice? Speaking of the devil, another Gemini.
Incarnate.
Yeah, we do. We have to find things that bring us joy. And exposing this brings me joy. I find joy at war. I am never more comfortable than when in combat. Where do they find the time? Yeah, Jen, when? When? When do they find the time? That's what I'm saying. If you're an occultist, guys, what happens is you're not a one-trick pony. You don't become obsessed with the occult. You know what I mean? It opens other doors for learning and expanding and living. It enriches your life. You know? So you start to do other things. This, no. Yeah, Malice, I was just bringing up how, you know, we had this conversation in the past, and you mentioned that things get to this level in the occult community largely because people don't call it out. And I said I took that to heart. And that's exactly why we're calling it out. And we're going to keep calling it out. And yeah, there is drama offline. This is what these people need to understand. This is not just online fucking drama. People's lives are actually in danger. Women have died. And you can say that EA co-editing is not responsible, and you can be right. But the truth of the matter is, this mentally disturbed person read his material saw instructions for human sacrifice, and he thought it was going to work. As a content creator, you are responsible for what you say and do. You are held to a higher standard. This behavior is not acceptable, and I'm not going to allow it. We're going to keep exposing this. This is just the beginning. They wanted us to take down the first video we did, and that was going to be the only one. And we said no. Some of Zarafina's fake accounts tried to trick us into taking it down, so we shared it more. It has now been shared on 30 different occult YouTube channels, and this one will too. These videos are going to go everywhere to protect others. So I encourage anybody who has been a victim to this sort of gang stalking behavior, anybody who has been doxxed, anybody who has been threatened, bullied with jail time, prison time, with curses and death threats, and you know, I'm gonna punch you till you stop moving when you don't even know how to throw a punch, bro. Let us know. We got your back. I'll be your voice. We are all scales on the body of the one. I will be your voice. You are not alone. We have thousands of screenshots and receipts, some of which, you know, I will look at and be like, I don't even know what this is. Because Bonnie has dug deep. There's probably 800-900 that are affiliated with me and my gang stalked experience, my experience being gang stalked and bullied, but there's many more. Come forward. Let us know. We're not going to jump on hearsay. This isn't about hate. This isn't about vengeance. If you've got proof, bring the proof. If not, no. We need proof, because we are about showing the receipts. See, these people, they say, oh, I've got screenshots, I've got proof, but then they don't show it. People just believe it because they see the word proof. No. Where's your people's ability to think? This is what I want to ask these folks that just feed into this bullshit. You know? But this is dangerous, guys. There are pedophiles affiliated with this company. This company has had instructions for human sacrifice in their written material. That's not okay. The occult is not meant to hurt people. The study, research, and application of occult principles and spiritual science, it is meant to make your life more magical and to ground your magic into this world. It is supposed to help to enrich your life experience, to strengthen and improve your life, to make you a better person day by day, moment by moment. Because all that exists is the eternal moment, which is always expanding with the fabric of this universe. And your consciousness has to expand with it. And these people taking part in this kind of behavior, they're not doing that. But these are the ones that are charging you thousands upon thousands of dollars for their ritual. Guys, I take people under my wing for the traditional year and a day. It's $1,000. And you come out the other side of that course knowing so much more than any of these supposed leaders in the occult community. As a matter of fact, if you just go and you watch all of my free YouTube content, you're going to come out knowing more than any of these supposed leaders. Serafina Angelus doesn't know shit. She knows nothing. At any rate, yeah. You know, I think tonight's stream, Mel, we've done enough. I want to make sure I have context with some of this other material we have before I start touching base on it and talking about it. The screenshots we have shown so far, yeah, I can point out the subtle nuances and intricacies of manipulation within it. And I don't want to have those subtle intricacies and manipulations lost in translation if I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add, sorry, we're both really tired. We had graduation and all that last night, but I will be stepping up tomorrow. See, my voice is gone. But stepping in tomorrow and talking about, there's so many more screenshots.
You're gonna need to come over here and speak, baby.
But this Dorsha mess that, or Darcy, I mean, because I know I know for a fact that she has several different accounts, but the legalities of I mean, I have paperwork by the state of Texas clearing me on her allegations. She was sent by Serafina. I will be showing everything. Just move in with me and everything. I literally had several people warn me about her, but I tried to think for myself and give a person the benefit of doubt. Unfortunately, I had to really learn the hard way. So we'll be talking about that, how, gosh, there is so much, how Serafina has been doing this, trying to get other people to befriend her, and the manipulative, just the way she's manipulated people for, it's been years, at least 2 years that I've known her, and I know it's been going on before me. And we're talking about a person that truly didn't know the difference between an in and a sigil.
Yeah.
And she's teaching.
Yeah.
Trying to teach.
Paula Canavan didn't know the difference between a demonic N and a sigil. And that's a fact.
And I feel
and
bad
she's now
yeah.
pretending like she can teach the occult.
And the trustworthy part is what I want to point out is how she'll go to people's private messages. I will show you how she doxed my personal information. And sent it out to others. And here in America, that, especially for the intention she had forth, it's illegal. And yes, there's going to be legalities that we're going to be dealing with it, because this shit has become dangerous.
Do you want to get on camera?
No, I don't. Not right now. I mean, yeah. Don't want to give them screenshots, you know. I don't want to have a bad angle. But guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming. And please share it. Post it to Curtis's wall over and over if you feel.
Post it to my wall 100 fucking times.
Just
put this in random comments on all occult channels.
If you feel bold, you know, I'm definitely not going to force anybody, because I do not want people to get any flashback. And if you do, private messages. We're not going to, anything that anybody's asked us to black out, we do. Because honey,
why don't you just get on camera?
Like, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I care.
Just sit and talk.
I do care. I like no makeup and anything, but anyway, I care. I don't want others to be hurt. I don't want others to have to deal with what we have. And I do. I feel bad that Timothy has had to deal with it. I feel bad that Jen was brought in and harassed. I do care. I really care. And I love you all. Kayla's been manipulated. I mean, even like, Nikki, the shit she went through. everybody has been manipulated and pitted against each other. I even realized that people that Orly had, when she dealt with it, she had to, and I know she did it for her own mental well-being, because when when you don't know who you can trust, it's easier just to get rid of everybody. Yep. I understand why she did what she did when she blocked a bunch of people. I get it. And the funny thing is that these people will pit each other against each other and try to make people not friends. Why? Why do you have to divide? Because you're not powerful. You know what I mean? Why does a community have to have one leader? Why can't it just be one strong group? A community is a group. It's not having one big, powerful, all-knowing God. So anyway, my cat is over there touching and moving my screen around. So anyway, I'm sorry, my ADD is acting up, but yeah, guys, thank you for joining, and I love you. Thank you, Lala. I am all of you. I mean, I'll be going over a little bit of Lala's story yesterday. I mean, unfortunately, that was blasted everywhere. I think everybody saw her pictures too. And I don't mean to laugh, because it is such a disgusting thing. If anybody that's ever dealt with physical abuse by a partner, I actually, when I was looking through my screenshots, I found some of my old bruised pictures from my ex, and mine were just bruising. And the ones that Sorsha shared all over the place were just vile. And it made me, it makes me sick. I don't. And then Sorsha just kind of ringed it for her own way. We'll get through that tomorrow. And I will show you the time pattern because of how things left, and how Seraphina comes in the mix, and how she brought my mother into it, which is insane because my mother is very narcissistic. My mother wants to control me, so she thought she could use somebody else. So my mother wouldn't have known who Seraphina was unless Sorsha didn't tell her who to talk to. You know what I mean? So we'll get to that tomorrow. Again, thanks for joining, and have a wonderful night. I love you all. Thanks.